Breaking two words just ended a 75-year alliance. Israel sent Britain a message so brutal, so final that Prime Minister Keir Starmer's entire government went into emergency lockdown. Within minutes, no diplomacy, no negotiation, just two words that rewrote the rules of global power overnight. Game over, that's it. That's the message that arrived at the British Embassy in Tel Aviv. And late last night, and before you think, this is just another political spat that will blow over by next week. Let me tell you something. If what you're about to hear affects every Western nation, every intelligence agency, and possibly your own country's security. So hit that subscribe button right now, because this story is moving faster than governments can control it. Here's exactly what happened. After Britain officially recognized Palestine as a sovereign state, last week the world waited for Israel's response. Diplomatic statements, maybe some UN grandstanding, right? Wrong, Israel skipped all of that, and sent a private diplomatic cable to the British Embassy. With just those two words, game over, no explanation, no room for interpretation, and then they did something that sent shockwaves through every intelligence agency in the West. They immediately suspended all counterterrorism, intelligence sharing with the United Kingdom. Let me repeat that, the intelligence pipeline that tracks extremist cells, monitors terrorist financing, and prevents attacks before they happen. Israel just turned it off cold. No warning, no negotiation period. Just done inside number 10 Downing Street. Absolute chaos erupted. According to multiple sources inside Westminster, senior ministers started canceling public appearances. Within the hour, emergency meetings were called. And by midnight, the Prime Minister's office was in full crisis mode, with security advisors, MI6 officials, and cabinet members trying to figure out what just happened. And more importantly, what happens next. The atmosphere, one insider described it as pure panic. Ministers are reportedly clashing behind closed doors. Some are demanding Starmer issue an immediate public apology to salvage the relationship. Others are pushing him to double down, arguing that backing down now would make Britain look weak to the entire world. The Foreign Secretary allegedly spent 2 hours on the phone with counterparts across Europe, trying to gauge who would support Britain if this escalates further. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. MI6 and GCQ. Britain's intelligence nerve centers are now scrambling, because without Israeli cooperation, the UK just lost its primary eyes and ears across the Middle East. Israel's intelligence operatives is legendary. Their penetration of terrorist networks, their real-time monitoring capabilities. Their human intelligence sources, Britain relied on all of it, and now gone. One of my 6 sources, speaking on condition of anonymity, called it a national security nightmare. Not an exaggeration, not political spin. Those were the actual words used, national security nightmare. Because this isn't just about hurt feelings or diplomatic embarrassment. This is about British citizens potentially being at greater risk. Because the intelligence flow just got cut off, and Israel wasn't finished delivering the message. Their foreign ministry released a statement that was clearly crafted to send a signal to every Western capital. Watching this unfold, quote, "The United Kingdom has chosen sides. History will remember its decision." That single line did more damage than a 1,000-page diplomatic protest could ever do. Within hours, global markets reacted. The pound dipped against major currencies. Middle East oil futures spiked. And investors around the world started asking the same question. Did Britain just make itself a diplomatic pariah? But wait, because there's another layer to this that could turn into the biggest political scandal in modern British history, according to leaked diplomatic sources, and we're talking multiple independent confirmations here. Israel is preparing to declassify intelligence documents. These documents allegedly show secret meetings between senior Labour Party officials and Palestinian leaders that took place before Britain's recognition letter was made public. Think about what that means. If those documents are real, and if they show what Israel claims they show, then Starmer's recognition of Palestine wasn't a principled, moral stand, it was prearranged political theater. It was a coordinated move planned in advance with Palestinian official. The optics of that would be absolutely devastating. Conservative MPs are already sharpening their knives. Opposition leaders are using words like betrayal, deception, and national security scandal in the same sentence. There are demands for a full parliamentary inquiry. Some are even comparing this to the Iraq War, dossier controversy, calling it potentially the gravest breach of public trust in decades. And here's the kicker, even within the Labour Party, whispers of a cabinet revolt are growing louder by the hour. One government insider told reporters that, during emergency security briefings, Starmer looked visibly shaken, quote, "You could see it in his face. He realized this isn't just foreign policy anymore. This is about political survival, and that's not an exaggeration. If those Israeli documents get released, and they show secret pre-coordination, Starmer's government could collapse within weeks. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the United States is absolutely furious. Anonymous State Department sources are leaking to American media, and the message is clear: we told them this would happen. There's even talk, still unofficial, but coming from multiple sources, that Washington might quietly punish Britain by freezing them out of key defense contracts. We're talking billions of pounds in trade, cutting-edge military technology sharing, joint operations, the special relationship between the US and UK, the alliance that's held strong since World War II, might be fracturing in real time. But here's a twist that nobody saw coming. And this is where the geopolitical chess game gets really interesting. Instead of isolating Britain, Israel's hardline game over response might have accidentally triggered the opposite effect. Spain announced they're fast-tracking their own Palestine recognition process. Ireland's foreign minister gave a speech defending Britain's decision, and hinting they'll follow suit. Even France, which usually plays both sides of every Middle East issue, had advisors leak that Paris will not be intimidated by threats. And perhaps most significantly, the United Arab Emirates, a key Israeli ally in the region, just announced a £5 billion green energy partnership with the United Kingdom. Right in the middle of this crisis, that wasn't coincidence. That was a calculated signal from the Arab world that they're betting on Britain's gamble. They're essentially saying, maybe it's time the West stop following the same old script. So what we're watching here isn't just Britain versus Israel. We're watching the potential beginning of a massive realignment of global alliances. And the crazy part, it all started with 2 words. Back in Britain, public opinion is splitting right down the middle. Social media has turned into an absolute war zone. Hashtags like Game Over UK and Stand With Starmer are both trending simultaneously. Half the country is calling him a traitor, who's destroyed Britain's security for virtue signaling points. The other half is calling him a visionary, who finally gave Britain an independent foreign policy, instead of just following Washington's orders. But here's the data point that should make every politician pay attention. A new poll conducted 48 hours after the Israeli message shows that 61% of UK voters believe Britain should not apologize to Israel. That number isn't going down. It's actually climbing. Maybe the British public sees something the political class doesn't. Maybe they're tired of being America's bitch junior partner. Maybe they want to see their country act like an independent, global power for once. So what does game over actually mean in practical terms? Is this just a diplomatic freeze that'll thaw out in a few months? Or is something far more dangerous brewing beneath the surface? Intelligence analysts are warning about possible cyber retaliation. British defense networks and government systems experienced unexplained technical anomalies overnight. Networks going down for brief periods. Strange access attempts, unusual data traffic patterns. Coincidence maybe TC. But after a message like game over, nothing looks like coincidence anymore. Israel has a well-documented history of cyber capabilities that rival any nation on Earth. If they wanted to send a message through digital means, they absolutely have the capability to do it, without leaving clear fingerprints. And here's what should keep every world leader awake tonight. This crisis isn't contained to Britain and Israel anymore. Every Western government is now being forced to make a choice. Recognize Palestine and face potential Israeli retaliation. Intelligence cutoffs and American displeasure. Or stay silent and watch your own citizens lose faith in your moral authority, while the Arab world questions whether you're capable of independent thought. What Israel did with those 2 words was send a message to every capital city on Earth. Loyalty has a price and breaking ranks has consequences. But they might have made a critical miscalculation, because right now across Europe and the Middle East, governments are watching Britain stand alone under fire. And some of them are starting to think that maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop letting fear dictate foreign policy. This is a poker game played with oil weapons, intelligence, and the lives of ordinary citizens who have no say in these decisions. And Britain just went all in, with a hand that could either win everything or lose it all. So here's the question that matters. Did Keir Starmer just commit political suicide? Or did he accidentally become the spark that triggers a complete reshaping of global alliances? Because if Spain, Ireland, France, and others follow Britain's lead, the entire Middle East power structure doesn't just shift. It collapses and gets rebuilt from scratch. And that 2-word message, it wasn't just sent to Britain, it was sent to every ally watching, every nation weighing their options, every leader wondering if they have the courage or the foolishness to do what Britain just did. The next 72 hours are critical. Intelligence agencies are on high alert. Diplomatic channels are burning up with emergency calls. And somewhere in Tel Aviv and London, officials are gaming out scenarios that could range from quiet reconciliation to something far more serious. What do you think happens next? Does Britain back down to save the alliance? Or does this spark a domino effect that changes everything? Drop your prediction in the comments below. And if you want to stay ahead of this story as it develops, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I guarantee you this is far from over. This is the kind of geopolitical earthquake that reshapes the world, and you're watching it happen in real time.